Okay, I'm going to try a bit of an overview video of the entire modular system. There's been a couple recent additions, and I've switched all the modules around a little bit, and I thought this was maybe a good time to just talk about the system as a whole. So the recent pickup is the Rubicon 2 from IntelliGel. This is an oscillator, just a single oscillator, but it has 9 waveform outputs and 9 CV inputs. So very full featured. It's a through zero oscillator, which can sound pretty interesting. I'll just bring it up and we can hear it quick. So that's just the direct out from the oscillator from its warp output, which is like a folder type thing or something. And then I have it being modulated from another oscillator through the through zero FM input. This sounds a little bit different from the FM, the exponential input. We can just compare them quickly. So pretty different sound depending which FM input you use. The through zero FM input on the Rubicon 2 is DC coupled. So I'm running the modulator through a high pass filter to get rid of any DC that might potentially interfere with the Rubicon's tracking and things like that. But you don't have to, you can just run it direct depending what you're trying to do. So I rearranged the modules around the Rubicon. There's 2 oscillators over here for mod oscillators, a mixer, and then the bifold wave folder, and a surges, which is a mutable ripples V2 clone, and then a couple VCAs and a disting. Couple mixers on each end of the skiff. So this is like the main voice of the system. In the bottom row, there's 2 1047 multimode filters and another surges. So 4 multimode filters in total in the central area. And then there was a second abacus, but I had to swap it out for the Rubicon. So I put it over here with the monosynths. So this little rack is full now. It's just 4 modules, a VCO, VCF, VCA, sample and hold LFO module, the abacus, which is 2 envelopes, and it can do some other things. Running out of breath here. And then a fixed filter bank. So that sort of functions as its own voice, but is also close enough to patch with the rest of the system. I moved the planar joystick from the one end of the case to the other so I can use both of these joysticks at the same time. They both have quad outputs along with their XY, and then the Doepfer has a Z output as well for when you turn the joystick. So between these two, I can control the entire setup. Still using the 5U modular. So there's 3 oscillators here, 3 in the 2600, 3 in the this skiff. There's 3 digital oscillators between these skiffs. The brains, which is a plates clone from Mutable Instruments. Chips, which is a little weird video game type oscillator. And then over here is the Victor, which is a vector synthesis oscillator. Vector synthesis, basically you're just mixing 4 waveforms and can move it around with the joystick. I wanted to keep a joystick on this side of the case to use with the Syntrex potentially. So that's pretty much the Euro system. This cells module, it's a little touch plate thing. I have this next to the joystick so I can use them both at the same time. Pretty fun. And then this is a dual sample and hold that can also be a dual track and hold. I have it set on track and hold. And what this allows me to do is take voltages from the joystick and hold them with the press of a button. So instead of sweeping around the stick, I can jump from quadrant to quadrant or wherever. The least used module in the system is probably this perfect pitch from Behringer. This is for if I want to plug a guitar or saxophone or any other instrument into the case. It can do some CV to MIDI things as well, so it's a pretty useful module overall. The 2600 was what got me into all this, basically. I still use it a lot, and the bottom row is really useful with the Euro stuff, a second sample and hold, and ring mod and preamp and things like that. So for sequencing, there is the SQ1 sequencer, the Make Noise O Control. The East Beast and West Pass both have sequencers. And then there's this Frostwave fat controller over here. And then the .com sequencer. I forget the number. Q119. So all kind of basic sequencers, but clocked from the MPC or triggered at different note divisions can be pretty useful to do some things. So these 2 attenuator modules, I'm just using them as like an output thing. There's 4 outputs here. And then the other 2 I'm just using as attenuators. One is to feed the oscilloscope running on the computer. So I think that's about it. The East Beast and West Pass are still pretty useful. I have the West Pass just patched by itself right now. It's only a 2 cable patch, but it sounds pretty interesting. So these are kind of underrated modules, but the build quality is a little bit suspicious. This is my second West Pass, and it had the output go bad, and then my East Beast recently has had its output go bad. So I'm pretty sure it's just the jack or some component right at the output stage, but kind of inconvenient. But on the plus side, they sound better going through these 100M VCAs, which are actually pretty good. So a bit of kind of incoherent rambling in this video, but I've been up for like 24 hours and worked last night, so I'm pretty tired. That's why I was running out of breath and my voice probably sounds kind of weird. Last thing to mention is for MIDI to CV converters, I'm using an MPU 101 and a Kenton Pro Solo MK3, and then also the Nifty case, and the 2600 has MIDI to CV as well. So thanks for watching.